What I want to do is have this more of a conversation than it is a presentation. This can be a fairly interactive. Thank you guys for taking a week out of your life, for being here. You're doing it, I know, for your kids, and I know you're all touching many kids every year, so we know that this is one of the highest impact things I do all year. I absolutely know that. I'm thrilled to be a part of it. I think you all kind of recognize how important what you're doing is. I mean, just from my point of view, as a citizen, we have issues with things being built elsewhere and shipped over here that has big sustainability problems associated with it. About a third of our energy, I think you may know, goes into actually making stuff, making materials, and making aluminum, making plastics, all this stuff. A big part goes into transportation. That's about a third of our energy, and about a third goes into buildings. And the stuff you're teaching your kids is actually essential to all of that, because if you can make buildings that insulate better, you can reduce energy that way. Make higher mileage cars, we reduce energy that way. If we can actually make stuff here instead of making stuff overseas and shipping it across great distances, we save all that energy in transportation. So all of this, really has a first order impact on making a sustainable world. And it all starts with having educated people that can think critically, do stuff, and go into all the ranges of things where your students go. So I think you know that, and I'm, I commend you all for being part of that process.
My name's Andrea Shriver, and I am from Moon Township, Pennsylvania, which is a suburb of Pittsburgh that is near the airport there. And I teach chemistry at the high school. And, well, first of all, my highlight for the week, actually, I have to say there's not just one thing, it is the whole week. I enjoy this camp more than any other camp in-service activity that I've ever been on. And the second year just led from the first one. I like the second year. It was very helpful to see the experiments a second time and to see how they would fit. Right now in our school district, we don't have any STEM courses per se, and it's more traditional. And so my initial thing would be to infuse all of the things that we've done into my chemistry curriculum, but my goal is to get a material science class there.
I actually, I'm really interested in connecting art and science, and I'm part of this group it's a Facebook group called The Art and Artist, the 614, which is the Columbus area code, and I made the bismuth crystal, and then I took a picture of it and posted it online, and I got like a bunch of likes, and that they were asking me about it and how it's formed and stuff, which is really, really cool. And things like that I want to incorporate in my class, because I find that in general the students that like art don't really like science, but if you bring them together and show them how they're related, they could become more interested in science.
I've enjoyed the time here. I appreciate all the not only the information but the materials we get. I told Andy it was like Christmas in June when he started giving us all that stuff, and there are very few CE programs that I think you'll walk away with as much information and material as we have.
Those two back there, I've got all the credit for putting that together.
So I mean,
that's
fresh from college. So I just finished my first year teaching at Spring Hill High School in Kansas, and it was really fun. I did chemistry and material science, that was my introduction to it, was basically teaching it, and so I was really thankful for the year one camp. But kind of like a lot of these guys have said, it's been nice to have the troubleshooting aspect. So same for me, brassing a penny, it didn't quite work, and I didn't have the time or the energy to figure out why, so we just had to move on and kind of scratch that off the surface. So kind of figuring out the whys and how to fix things if it's not working, that's been really huge, just to kind of make that work again. And then even getting those supplemental activities, so finally knowing how to batch glass. That's good, because that's something that you don't really want to practice for the first time by yourself with a bunch of 17-year-olds, because that's not really the best atmosphere for that. So it's been great just to work with all of you guys, and my notebook is just filled with all these hints and tips, and this is how I used it in my classroom, this is what we do with this activity, and this is how we make tables for that. And so just knowing the different ways to actually put it into my classroom has been really, really helpful for me. But my biggest wow factor was the quarter. That was awesome. Just, and I put that on Facebook. I'm teaching them about magnetic fields and how this goes through, and so I like trying to educate my
There's real
friends.
science in there too, yeah.
There is, yeah. And in the test tube geology, that was really cool too.
What I have found from both years of camp is that it's added a different perspective to things and activities I was already doing, where we'll do something and then it's like, oh wait, that's because, you know, it's added that whole other dimension perspective to a lot of things, along with some of the new things. And what I'm taking away with me here is I really need to buy a kiln.
I'm Monica Glade. I am from Washington, Indiana. I teach at North Davies Junior Senior High, which is in Elnora, Indiana. It is a tiny school. In my school, there's me, the biology teacher, there is one physics teacher, one chemistry teacher, one middle school science teacher. So there is no department meetings, there is no collaboration, there is no one to really bounce ideas off of or learn how to do things better. So for me, the main takeaway, the reason why I come to these camps, and especially this camp, which I absolutely love, is just getting the chance to collaborate with everyone else. And this might kind of be the wrong answer. For me, the main takeaway is not really the material science itself. It's fascinating and I love it, but I teach biology, so it's not really content knowledge that I can apply in my classroom. For me, what the main takeaway is everything else. All those little tidbits, like this is how I set up my lab notebook. This is what I do when the boys are in the back of the classroom breaking things. This is what I do when the kids don't want to do any experiments. I mean, all those just little classroom management things, how to get the kids excited, how to get everyone into it, and how to make your classroom really work.
I was really excited to be accepted to the second year class. You know, we went through the first year class, learned a tremendous amount of information, like drinking through a fire hose is probably an understatement, probably for most of us. But a couple things that really got me about this. One, just coming and meeting all the outstanding teachers that are out there that care about their students, want to get them excited about science. I mean, we're all science teachers in here, and you know, it's one of the toughest things to do because a lot of kids, you know, they're either scared of the science or, you know, especially if there's mathematics. I'm a math science teacher, so I'm like the double, you know, the double cross. And, you know, they really don't like, you know, either side of that because they think it's going to become too difficult. But when you show them that they can actually make something or do something and start to understand, look, I'm wearing that. And how is that made? And look, I could make it in the lab. This isn't so tough. That maybe you could start to get them to get a glimmer of what's possible out there. I chose my career path was to focus on inner city. I live in Chicago, and I am on the south side of Chicago, where a lot of the homes and such are all boarded up. You go down the street and I got kids with bullets in their heads coming back to school, and pretty rough neighborhood. And the biggest challenge is to get these kids to bring up and get their eyes, you know, to somewhere else other than and at the street level. And so talking to all these folks here is just, you know, learning how you get the kids excited. You know, going in the labs, seeing your students. You know, they're the ones running it. They're the ones talking about it. It's not the professor standing there going, oh yeah, this is how this works. And you know, it's actually
nothing getting done there. Yeah, no, it's
you know, it's actually the kids that are there, and that's what we're all about. We're trying to get our kids there. And so, you know, from my perspective, these camps are critical. If I didn't have this, my son may have been going into chemical engineering. He starts next year. And so I've got him going into chemical engineering, and he wants to do corrosion.
Corrosion's a good thing.
You know, and I wouldn't have known about corrosion science if I didn't do the week 1 camp. So there's a lot of experience and knowledge we get, how we present that to our kids, what are the jobs out there, what are the schools that are out there. You know, we get Ohio State supporting us. I mean, there's nothing better than that.
For the purposes of getting help from OSU, I come from a suburb of Columbus called Nashville, Tennessee. We're one of the 50 largest school districts in America. Overwhelming majority of our students at risk, students of color, students on free and reduced lunch. I think we speak over 90 languages in our school district. And over the years, the last 3 or 4 years, I've taught biology, honors chemistry, introduction to engineering, critical thinking, science capstone research, I think a couple of others, and sometimes as many as 5 preps a year. Being here is like being in heaven for a week, which it's hard to go back to the other 51 weeks of the year in the desert. You asked that we answer the question of what we're going to do with what we've learned. And one of the great things about this as a refresher for me, things I've picked up at previous ASM workshops and the Year 1 program a couple years ago, is the idea, which it really got burned into my mind, and it's in a good sense, I think it's a result not just of the work we did, but of the community of people here and the people teaching the workshop, is that there are no problems that are unsolvable. It's just a question of, do you want it fast, do you want it quick, do you want it cheap, pick two. And what I'm going to go on to do from here, and what I've been troubled about, and I feel much better about now, is to try to, with a group of teachers in different school districts and in different states and a couple from different countries that are trying to work with the NGSS standards to organize the whole curriculum around problem-based learning, with the proviso that it's not that we give a student a problem, but that we ask the students to think about their community. And this is really important with at-risk students who don't understand what being in school has to do with the rest of the life, people who no one in their family has gone to college, they don't live with their family, and their friend just got shot. And to be able to say, what are the problems in your community, and can we define them, attack them, look at them in a methodical way. And the thing I've been worried about is solutions. And I think material science represents a way for students to begin to attack a solution to a whole lot of problems they might end up studying by choice. So I'm very grateful for being on that direction.
Thanks so much.